Hey, it's John with Vision Advisors. Thank you for taking time out of what I know is your busy schedule to join us for an opportunity to take a look at an innovative new solution that's in the fixed indexed annuity marketplace. I'm joined on the webinar today by Thomas Green with Sabres Partners. Many of you guys may know them from the Phoenix days, but we've got a new relationship and a new carrier relationship with Sabres Partners. And we're looking forward to giving you an opportunity to see a new solution that may help you solve some client problems that up to this point you've looked at, maybe options in the marketplace and said, what I've got today doesn't really fit. So without any further ado, Thomas, I'm going to flip it over to you, and let's jump into taking a look at this new and innovative solution that you guys are bringing to the table.
Thank you, John. I appreciate that very much, and I appreciate taking the time and giving me the opportunity to speak to your agents. It's we always relish that kind of opportunity. So, jumping right in, John mentioned we talked about we'll be talking about riding the wave into retirement. Basically, something we talk about looking forward approach, as opposed to a way a lot of these FIAs are taught out there as looking back. So, who we focused on when bringing this product to market a few months back? Why did we think we really needed something out there to be different from what was already out there, what was available to the agents? There are a few things that we really wanted to focus on, and a select segment of the population in this country that we really thought would benefit from this product. So that being said, we'll go ahead and jump right in. Starting off with a few points that I like to just start every conversation with when we're talking about the RPM and why the RPM opportunity is so big. 5-year product. So we have a 5, 7, and a 10-year version of the product. The 5 years is a real differentiator in that space. There are not a ton of 5-year products out there, or at least competitive FIA products out there with a 5-year chassis. True 5-year walkaway. Gives that client the flexibility and control of the policy in a much shorter duration. From a compensation standpoint to the agent, 6.15% compensation with Atlantic Coast Life on a 5-year product. Huge. It's going to be very tough to beat that on a 5-year chassis. You have the ability to get up to 200% from a participation rate standpoint. We'll talk more about the rates and the indexes within the product. Up to 8.5% cap rate with the 1-year S&P point to point. Flexible rider options. We'll talk about the riders available with the contract, as well as the base contract with no rider, no fee. And then we added not too long ago, maybe a month ago or so, we added what we call a 3-year index with a premature death benefit to the contract. What that is if you're in the 3-year Goldman Sachs Aging America Index, whether it's 10%, 100%, or somewhere in between, if something were to happen, the owner of a premature death occurred, they will get the full value of that 3-year index as of the date of death, which is different than most multi-year index strategies in the market, where you don't get any of that current accumulation unless it's credited at the end of that duration. With this, you get whatever credit. So if it's 2 years and 1 day in to that 3-year duration, you're going to get full account value as of the date of death. So that's a big part of this difference maker out there as well, because you don't see that too often out there in the space.
Yeah, that's a huge differentiator, Tom, that you see from a lot of the competition. And the fact that it's a 5-year chassis, still with attractive comp and significant participation opportunity, really fits a niche that it has been a hole in the marketplace up to this point.
Agreed. That's exactly why we wanted to do something a little bit different and offer that to the clients. So before we jump into kind of the bells and whistles of the product itself, I like to step back a little bit and talk about why we went to work with ACL and Goldman Sachs on creating the product and the index. Why we focused on the baby boomers, and why we put into this index the pieces that we put into it. Specifically, when it comes to the growing retirement population, those baby boomers out there, and we're going to get into that in a minute, are growing and growing, and the opportunity is growing because of that, to really focus on helping these individuals where we may not have focused in the past. with just our standard FIA product. So that being said, baby boomer, most of us know the term. It's someone born between 1946 and 64. It's making up an increasingly large portion of this American population, as I mentioned. About 20% of the population, at least by the year 2030, I'll show you in a minute, will be 65 or older. So that creates a long-term need for products, for services that are really focused on seniors and helping them secure a health and lifestyle in retirement years. So they mentioned 10,000 Americans turning 55 every day. This is literature. You might have seen these stats on some of our literature. You might have seen them elsewhere. We got these from different surveys out there. 20% of the U.S. population is going to be 65 or older by 2030. So within 10, 11 years from now, 20% of the population is going to be at least 65 years of age. And then 75% of healthcare spending is going towards chronic care need. So 3/4 of all healthcare spending is going to go towards a chronic care need. This is just kind of highlighting some of that opportunity I'm talking about to help those seniors that you're working with.
Hey, Thomas, one other little point I'll throw in there on top of that. According to
Sure.
a lot of the recent statistics that we see today, the baby boomer generation is expected to be the longest lived generation in recent history, living up to a third of their lifetime in retirement. So the need for, sustainable income for a significant period of time is a big issue. And the fact that they're going to be living long enough that their body begins to wear out, and these age-related illnesses and injuries that lead into chronic care needs are going to impact this generation more than any of the previous generations that we've seen in the last 200 years.
I couldn't agree more, John. And that leads very nicely into where I'm going next, or in a minute. We'll get back to that, but you're talking really about the longevity aspect of the baby boomers and how long they're living and how many years of retirement, and we'll touch on that, but I appreciate bringing that up. That's a big point. Just focusing again on the segments of baby boomers that we really focus on with the RPM. Those wave one, we were born between 1946 and 1950. So these people are retired. They're taking income from some source, whether Social Security, savings, if they have a pension, what have you. The second wave will be approaching retirement. They're planning on now moving more from an accumulation into more of an income phase of their retirement years. And then 3 and 4, really, those are the individuals that are still employed, still trying to grow that retirement savings and take advantage of those opportunities to help grow those savings. So what's your unique plan for retirement? What is your client looking for from you for guidance, or what are their thoughts and concerns? How are they aligning their finances with where they plan or where they want to be down the road when they're in their retirement years? One of those things is longevity that they have to think about, that they're concerned about. That touches on exactly what John mentioned a few minutes ago. People are living longer due to healthier lifestyles and better medicine nowadays that are keeping people healthy and beating diseases and so forth. So they're living longer. They're living more years in retirement. It could be 20 more years, 25, 30 more years. Without that paycheck coming in from their former employer, where are they making up that income from? And how are they going to be prepared for the ups and downs of the market? So longevity is definitely a major concern. Excuse me. Expenses. We talk about expenses. When I talk about expenses, when I'm talking about the RPM product, because we're focused again on those entering or in retirement, so those in their mid-60s, 70s, and so on. We're talking about really 2 types of spending: discretionary and non-discretionary. Obviously, discretionary being those that they're looking for, optional purchases such as entertainment or travel, other things. Non-discretionary expenses are really where we're focused on specifically healthcare needs. So it talks about housing, non-discretionary. You have those food concerns where what are you putting on the table each day? And then healthcare. Healthcare is a growing concern, one, again, because people are living longer. Their medical plans aren't as good as they were. They're paying a lot more. Whatever it may be, healthcare is a major concern for most baby boomers, most people in their retirement years. So that is a major focus, and one of the reasons that we work with Goldman Sachs on bringing in the Aging of America Index. And then market performance. So obviously the volatility of the market. Are people prepared for downturns in the market? Is their portfolio aligned properly where they can withstand and be prepared for those downswings where they're going to be entering retirement in a couple of years. They really can't afford to have a major downturn and hit their portfolio and throw off their retirement planning. This piece that we're talking about, basically this presentation that you're seeing today, and I can get John a copy of it, is our new playbook. So what you're seeing on the screen today, you'll have the ability to print it up or order it as a piece you can use with your client. So everything you see here today is something that you'll be able to sit with your client and talk about as well. And one of the things on the right side of the screen you'll see here, very basic, but kind of guides you on things you need to be concerned about, such as where do you think the market's headed? It's been up for a long time. We have no idea where it's headed in 5 or 10 years. But am I in a position where I can withstand those downturns if that happens? Same with interest rates. They've been low for a long time, maybe creeping up over the last 6, 9, 8 months, to be 6, 9, 12 months. However, they're still low compared to where they've been over time in the past. We don't know where they're going to go in 5 or 10 years from now. Is my portfolio in position to withstand any interest rate turns? Risk tolerance. Obviously, risk tolerance is going to get a little tighter and more conservative over time. Is my portfolio aligned with where my risk tolerance is now? We touch on market landscape just to give you an idea of the indexes that your clients are most likely familiar with. The S&P 500 being a big one in the FIA space, kind of mirroring the Dow Jones over the last 50 years or so, and where interest rates have been in the same little, over 50 years. That high point in the 80s, that low point over the last few years. This just gives you an idea of, a bull run, then at the same time, downturns in the markets, what could happen. A couple other points before we jump right into the product. Market corrections. This just really puts an emphasis on, again, not just the amount of the decline that can happen. That has happened over time, as you see with those blue lines on the screen, whether it's 1973 or 74 at a 48% decline with 630 days in correction, 87, 2000, or 2007 being the most recent real recession, where you're over 500 days in correction period. This gives you an idea of, okay, that it could be, have a steep decline, but at the same time, it could be a long decline as well. Am I set up where I need to be to withstand that? So these we wanted to put up there just to show you that, yes, it could be a big decline, but it's also over the period of time that you have to be aware that can last, and make sure your finances and your goals are aligned with what your vision is for retirement. And then finally, the accumulation phase and income phase. It takes time, obviously, to grow your retirement savings to where they need to be to put that nest egg together that you want in retirement. So just kind of this bell curve kind of gives you an idea of over the accumulation phase, hitting retirement, and then what am I going to have prepared for income phase when I need it. So those were meant to just give you an idea of where we were coming from when we put this thought process together of who we wanted to focus on and why, and how we wanted to show you what can be a difference maker in that marketplace. What's the need out there for the baby boomers that they haven't seen already? Well, the Retirement Plus Multiplier is going to be able to fill a lot of those voids that your clients may have been facing, or you may have been facing as the agent, and what you can offer your client from an FIA, fixed index annuity standpoint. So we'll be talking about flexibility of the contract. As I mentioned, you have the base contract, no fee, no rider. Ages through age 85 issue age. You have that 5, 7, and 10-year option. Again, the 5 year is really the one that has been the main focus from most agents and their clients, because it is different from what you see out there with those longer durations typically. Crediting strategies, we'll be talking more about the S&P 500, as well as the real driving index in this product that Goldman Sachs, again, built for this product specifically, the Aging of America Index, and you have the fixed account as well. The riders, we have the growth rider, or otherwise known as the accumulation rider or buy-up rider, where it's buying up the higher cap rates and the higher participation rates, as well as the income multiplier rider, That is our GLWB for this product, for those that are looking more on an income need. And liquidity, from a liquidity standpoint, you have free RMD starting in the first contract year, and you have 5% free withdrawals starting in contract year number 2. So jumping into the rates, let me see if I can move, bear with me one second, if I can move this out of the way here. No. If we can't, I'll just, I'll mention them. I apologize. I'm not sure if something's blocking the bottom of the screen, but if not, we'll go on. As far as the base contract going down, you'll see Goldman Sachs AG of America Dynamic Balance Index. I just call it AG of America Index for short. For the 3-year, you are at a 3-year point-to-point with participation. The Goldman Sachs are uncapped strategies for this index. 100% on the 3-year and 58.5% on the 1-year. Down below that, the S&P 500 1-year point-to-point cap is 6%. As of February 1st, so a couple of weeks ago, we bumped this up from 2.5% to 6%. Much more competitive from a cap standpoint than it was. 1-year point-to-point with participation is now 40% with the base contract, where it was 25%. We bumped it up 15 points. So again, 6% and 40% on the S&P 500 index. One of the barriers that we were running into when we first rolled this product out was a lot of agents and clients wanted at least a portion allocated to the S&P. They were familiar with it. They wanted some of it there. The rates we had just weren't competitive. So we took that and bumped them up significantly from 2.5% to 6% cap, from 25 to 40% par rate. So the S&P rates are right there, and that's 5, 7, and 10-year rates. It doesn't matter what version of the product you have. Those rates apply to all 3 versions. So much more competitive and extremely competitive, again, on the 1-year for the base contract, for the 1-year and 3-year on the Goldman Sachs as well. Jumping over to the right side of the screen, because the rates are the same, I'll go through the income one first. If you have the income rider, 5, 7, or 10-year, number one, the fee, the rider cost is 95 basis points or 0.95%. The rates are exactly the same as the rates I mentioned a minute ago for the base contract. So you have that 100% and 58.5% on the 3-year and 1-year respectively with the Goldman Sachs, and 6% cap and a 40% par rate on the 1-year respectively with the S&P. Back over in the middle column, this is where we're talking about the growth rider. You have the 5, 7, 10-year versions. The fee is 1.25%. Again, on the 1st of February, we dropped the fee significantly. That was something we were running into, and we were getting feedback from agents that the fee was not competitive. So what we did is we dropped it down on the 5-year by 65 basis points to 1.25%. So no matter if you have the 5, 7, or 10-year versions, 1.25, and that gets you an opportunity on the 3-year to get a 200% participation rate, and on the 1-year Goldman Sachs, 117% participation rate. Extremely competitive. And if you scroll down again, and at the bottom under the S&P, if you have that growth rider version of the contract, the 1-year point-to-point on the S&P is 8.5%, and the 1-year point-to-point with participation is 53%. So again, up to 8.5% cap rate on the 1-year, up to 200% participation rate on the 3-year are the highs that you have the ability to get with this product from an accumulation standpoint. So very competitive caps and rates, and their fees are really much more competitive and in line really with others in the industry that are similar. So a real good opportunity. Again, these rates apply to 5, 7, and 10-year versions. It doesn't matter either way. From a comp standpoint, just focus on the 5-year because that's where we've seen most of the business, most of the traction on this product. 3H75, you're at 6.15% on the 5-year product compensation. I mentioned that earlier in the very first slide. We won't run through all the numbers here, but on the 5-year, 6.15% is going to be tough to beat. So extremely competitive compensation to go along with those competitive rates that you have the opportunity, to do with your client. And then just riding the wave into retirement, again, that theme that we talked about, that we talk about often. We wanted to show this. There are a couple of stats you already saw: 10,000 people Americans turning 65 every day. 20% of the population will be 65 or over by 2030, and that 75% healthcare spending, chronic care need stat. Some other stats that we like to show to really drive home the point again of the opportunity and where this population, this baby boom population, where their needs are going to be in the future as they get older, where their focus is going to be from a healthcare standpoint. It really, really shines a light on why this is such a great opportunity for you, the agent, and for the client, really, to focus on a need and concern that's going to be near and dear to them, and really give them an invest where you spend mentality, especially if they've been spending a lot of their savings on medications and assisted living facilities, things like that, whether it's for themselves or loved ones. 80% of the American seniors will have at least one chronic care need. 50% of all Americans will require nursing care at some point in time. And just under 6% per year is the projected growth in healthcare through 2024. So over the next 5 years, we're talking about almost 6% projected growth in healthcare spending. And then the final two stats that we show usually with this is 45% of household wealth is through the baby boomer segment, and they control $17 trillion in assets. Again, these are really meant to drive home that opportunity and shine a light on why this is such a major concern and really a great opportunity to talk to your client about. And down below, it gives you an idea of the top 10 constituents with this index. We have the ability to show you all 120 or 130 if you wanted to see those. These are the ones that are really focused on orthopedic care, Medicare, cancer treatments, cardio care, diabetes, companies like Johnson & Johnson or United Healthcare, like Bristol Myers, like Pfizer, like Novo Nordisk, and others. So these are companies that your clients are familiar with. They may have been spending their money towards medications that these companies have made for a long time. So it's really, again, a great opportunity to at least talk to them about something a little bit different, something that's really more of a forward-looking approach when we're talking about fixing these annuities. Marketing materials, marketing brochures and quick sheets. You also have a Goldman Sachs piece here as well. And you'll also be able to order the Playbook. That is, again, a client-approved piece that'll be kind of a version of what you saw today, that you'll be able to sit down if you choose to use it with a client. It's a great piece for that. You're walking them through on their plan for retirement and where the FIA, the RPM fits in. From a marketing support standpoint, obviously John and his staff at Vision are there for you. You can always give us a call as well if you'd like, but reach out obviously to John. John can always reach out to us, and we can help any way that you need it. And just wrapping up kind of where we started, retirement plus multiply, just giving you those bullet points again as a way to walk away and think a little bit about what we talked about today, and where a focus is going to be for probably a large portion of your clients. Again, those entering retirement, what are their main concerns? What are their needs going forward? A big portion of that's going to be healthcare. So this is really a way to use this product, and remember that it's a true 5-year product available to you. Really competitive compensation. Those rates are up to 200% and 8.5% on the cap, 200% on the par rate. Those flexible rider options we talked about, as well as that 3-year index premature death benefit feature that we added to the contract. So I want to thank John. I want to thank you for having me take the time today and get a chance to talk to your folks out there. And if I can do anything else, please let me know. But we look forward to working with you guys and with all your agents.
Absolutely. Thomas, thank you so much. We value and appreciate the relationship. And we've had a long-standing relationship with the folks over at Sabris. Good group of folks that are there. They've been good allies to our organization. And we've got a number of producers that write product that you guys put out. This is something that's exciting because it allows us now to get into those shorter duration products, but be able to do so on a competitive basis and have an opportunity now as you're laddering and looking at different strategies for working in the income and in the growth space to really have some unique solutions that kind of fill that gap where maybe we need some money 4, 5, 6 years down the road. We've now got the ability to look at some solutions for that we previously didn't have in our portfolio. So this is an exciting addition to what we have here at Vision, and we're happy to run illustrations for you. You can also use the annuity tools on our website to run those yourself. But if you've got questions about the product, or you want to get an illustration, or really want to have a further conversation about where this might fit with a client that you're currently working with, give us a call here at Vision Advisors, 800-505-8489. You can ask for me, you can talk to Randy, or you can talk to Melissa. Any of us on the sales team would be happy to have that conversation with you, help you figure out an appropriate solution, where this particular product fits, get the illustration, get you appointed, and get the product information and application packets in your hands so that you can go write this product and have an opportunity to help solve a client problem maybe previously you couldn't handle before. Thomas, thank you for being on the call with us. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us on the call as well. Whether you're joining us live or you're going to catch this in a later recorded version, thank you for taking time. Thank you for your business, and we look forward to the next opportunity to help you solve a case that you've got up and coming. So have a great day. Thank you for joining us, and we'll talk to you soon.